Okay. Another dream. I'm going to try to get as many of these done as I can and separate them like this. But this dream was very close to the same time as the dream I've already posted about the high balcony dream where the clouds were like there was like a battle in the air. And very shortly after that, so these were both about 2 years ago, almost this, probably around this same time or more close to the first of the year, but 2 years ago. And if I recall correctly. And this one was another battle in the air dream. So a lot of times I'll get two together that are very different, but there'll be a common element. There'll be a common thread. And this one was all of a sudden I find myself in the air with this battle going on in front of me. Like with, there were planes, but my eyes were very, my attention was very on this one particular plane that was right in front of me, and it was in flames. But I knew there was this similar chaos going on all around me. Other planes were in distress, and there was this war going on. But my focus was on this plane right in front of me, and I was watching what was happening. And what was happening was there were soldiers inside the plane, and well, actually, I could see one. I could see flames in the plane, and I could see one soldier helping another soldier out onto the wing on a gurney, like trying to escape the flames in midair. And it was just like this the situation that they were in was unbelievable. And the rest of the crew were already out of the plane, and they were in a like a circle formation. Um, you know how you see skydivers like get in a group to slow their fall, and actually just kind of the way I saw it, although it just sort of like switched. I think from seeing the person helping the one out on the gurney to seeing them all in this circle formation around this one soldier who was injured, um, and they were trying to slow their descent, but they didn't have parachutes. They were in serious trouble, and my eyes went to one of the soldiers in this circle, and they're all, holding it together with um, everything they've got. But I noticed that one of the soldiers was a woman, and my eyes were drawn right to her hand, right here, and I noticed she had a wound on her hand, but she was holding on with it, and but she was injured, holding on with it, and she couldn't hold on anymore. And when she let go with her hand, the whole group disbanded, and they were slung everywhere and started free falling. And I was just like blown away by what I was seeing. And then instantly it changed, and I was on the ground, and I was looking in this window of a restaurant. And in this restaurant were the commanders of this group of soldiers, this unit of soldiers or whatever. And they were just sitting there eating, having their lunch. And I mean, it was so vivid what I could see. It was like this restaurant had tables, the normal tables, and then there was one of those. I don't know, you've probably seen the restaurants that have the little long table up against the window with bar stools with where the patrons sit and face looking out the window. It's kind of like overflow seating or something. And there were some of the commanders were sitting there at that table looking out, and there was a couple at the table. And anyway, they're just sitting there enjoying their lunch, having no idea what is going on um, in the sky above them and how much trouble that their people are, how much danger or peril that their people are in. And someone either, I don't know if they got a call or someone comes and tells them, I don't recall exactly how I knew that the one, they were told, like someone was given the information that their people were, there was something going on. And so they started standing up and kind of gathering their stuff and pushing their chairs in and turning around, just kind of like casually, you know, like you know how when you're somewhere and someone gets an emergency call, like the fire department or a paramedic or something is in the just doing normal things, and all of a sudden they get a call and they hurry, they like stop what they're doing and they leave because they have an emergency to go to. It was kind of like that, except for they were wrapping up their lunch, but they weren't moving very fast. And I'm like, you're not moving fast enough. Like, you have no idea how serious it is. Because I'm thinking, is there anything that can be done to save them? Can we come up with some way to rescue them before they hit the ground? And because they were way up in the sky, and then I woke up, and I was just like, and I knew this was spiritual. I knew this was spiritual. It was just like, and I just felt like the leaders had no idea how important, how critical this time was, how much carnage was going on, how disconnected we were from the danger that the people were in. That's what I was thinking. That's what it meant to me. That was the first thing that came to my mind. So months go by, and actually I think I had like a personal revelation of oh, I left something out. When the commanders were getting up to gather their stuff and leave, one of them even turned around, and there was like a little shot glass, some little special kind of shot glass of liquor on his area where he was sitting and eating his lunch. And he had got up to turn around and walk out, but he turned back around to take that drink and and I was just like, what? Just the seriousness of what was going on and the disconnect. I was just mind blown. So anyway, some time, I don't know how far it was, maybe a few months later or whatever, I had like a feeling that I understood what this dream meant. Like, it had personal connotations in it for me, but I didn't know how exactly. It was just like, it felt like there was some personal level of it. It wasn't just like the church or just like whatever. That somehow that was me in this, not just observing it, but that I was involved in it somehow. And so anyway, I was deciding to write it down, and there was this stuff that was going on in my life that had to do with alcohol, not me personally, but someone who was very important to me. And it had like reared its head, and there was this whole battle going on in the spirit over this thing, and I was praying about it so much. And anyway, I decided to write the dream down. And when I did, when I got to the part about the woman with a wounded hand, I realized that day, not when I had the dream, but that day, I had a wound on my hand in the same place. I had something crazy going on in my arm, and it was like nerve something, like it was like, I think it was, I can't remember I had like gotten shingles on my arm or something, and it was either before or after that it had left. I think it was after that it had left this really sensitive place on my hand, and there's like little purple dots or whatever, just kind of the reminder of the battle I had just gone through with that. But while I'm writing it, and it didn't dawn on me until I was writing it and I was trying to figure out how to do this illustration, if there was any way I could show the wound on her hand, and I was thinking about where it was and how I saw it, and then it's just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I have a wound right there, right now. And I can feel it like tingling when I'm talking. Um, so then it was just like confirmed. It's like, it's me. This is me. Um, and I think when we're wounded, when we're dealing with that, like attack stuff or whatever, where there's stuff going on with, the spiritual attacks, whatever, in our families and our friends and our, whatever, the people that we love, that we can get wounded and we can let go of them, or we can have instead of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just like that you're not the only one damaged when that goes on. And if the leaders are not, if you're not in your position, if you're a teacher and you're not teaching, or you're a preacher and you're not preaching, or there's a hole. And I do believe that the Lord raises up people to fill those holes or whatever, but I don't think we escape um, without consequence. If you think about it, when Miriam and Aaron uh, had the issue where they had kind of rose up and spoke against Moses, and Miriam was struck with leprosy or whatever and put out of the camp for so many days. The whole camp was delayed while they dealt with that. And I'm not speaking bad about Miriam. I believe that she takes a bad rap for that, because the Lord has shown me later how I think it was something sweet that he showed me about how valuable Miriam was to him. So I don't want to be one of those people that just leaves Miriam under the bus over that situation, but it shows us that we're linked together, and our bad choices affect each other. So anyway, months later, I don't even know how long it was, but it was a long time after I had that dream and after I had written it down. I had another dream where just all of a sudden I just find myself in this dream free falling from high in the sky without a parachute. And I'm just like trying to slow myself down, trying to do anything I can to slow the descent of this fall, but I am falling like a bullet out of the sky. And it's just like, it was like all of a sudden I was that person that I had been watching in my last dream. I was in the body of the person free falling. And I'm like doing everything I can to slow down, everything I can to slow down. And I finally start slowing down the free fall. And I'm thinking, this is going to hurt, but I'm going to live. And I get to the ground, and there's like some kind of, I don't know what they were, like banners or something that I'm like ripping through as I'm coming down. When I'm getting close to the ground, they slow me down even more. And I hit the ground, and I don't recall the moment of hitting the ground, but I get up and I'm like, I made it. I made it. And then I walk forward into this group of people, and it's my family is there, and my grandfather is there. And I'm like mind blown by what just happened. and they have no idea. They have no idea what I've just been through. And I walk up to my grandfather and I tell him, I have just survived. So I don't know if how I said it, something like falling without a parachute. And I said something like, I would have never made it if it hadn't been for the things you told me. Um, and I knew when I woke up that it was what had saved me was prayer. What like just through that really chaotic time and through those really, and the person who in life was dealing through this also came out of that situation, and like it was horrible. It was horrible. And it probably would have totally took us out had it not been for God, not, for being able to press in faith and make it through that situation. But um, it was not easy. It was not pleasant. It was ugly. But it's like, we made it. We survived it. We're okay. Um, and to me, it was just amazing that that period of time and how it confirmed itself later. But these battles that we're facing, these things that happen in our families and in our just our whole world or whatever, it's like they're serious. I mean, they take people out, and we're supposed to be in place and doing our part to help make sure that um, people are coming up into maturity and they're learning and growing and being stronger and moving in love and using good judgment and having discernment and all those things, functioning as a body of believers to that's how you're protected from those sort of things. When those sort of things happen, there's a breakdown. They shouldn't be able to happen. They shouldn't be able to come into the church and take you out or almost take you out. So anyway, that is that one. That was probably a long one, but it was very it came in phases or whatever. So I have an illustration for that one. I'll try to get that one on here. But anyway, thank you. And if you have any comments, you can just leave them. Thanks.